Hello, it's Daryl at 10-Foot Truck, Good Attitude Services. And it snowed quite a bit yesterday, and so I couldn't work yesterday. I had a job today, I canceled, but so I went out, I was gonna go to the job. It's pretty slushy out there, so maybe a good thing canceling the job, because it's kind of messy, you know, when the snow it's warming up and it's getting, you can see, starting to get starting to melt off there. I don't know how much snow. We had quite a bit of snow, but so it's warming up. It's slushing all over. It's a big mud mess. That's the worst time driving around in that. And then it's supposed to freeze up tonight. So yeah, I mean, what happens is as this is melting off, if they don't keep up with the de-icing, when it gets down below freezing, it's just gonna freeze up and you're gonna sliding all over the place. So probably a good thing. Cancellation, you know, it's the way it goes on that. Anyway, I did a job on that app again. I tried that app, Angie Services, and I noticed that they had mattress removals in the hallways, which I didn't know because I thought it was just furniture assembly. So I went ahead and tried that. I've only done a couple jobs on that app. I did an assembly and I did a moving job, and so this would be like a third. You know, I don't use it that often. I just wanted to try it out. The payout was worked for me, so it went pretty good. Although it was just me, and usually I have two people when I'm hauling a mattress because it's heavy stuff. But I was able to. It worked out because the mattress was the size of it wasn't too bad, so I was able to get it out myself and complete that job. So I'm looking at that too when there's nothing else going on. I'll look at those other apps. Like for hauling, the only ones I know of so far, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but Load Up, which is the one I look at all the time, they have the most hauling jobs in my area as far as like one of those applications or apps for the phone. And then Angie Services, which is more handyman orientated. They have more assembly and TV mounting and, you know, like different types of handyman type stuff. But I just focused on just doing that because I've done assembly before, so it's no big deal. I don't prefer to do that. But when I see the hauls and doing something hauling, then I'm more about doing that. That's kind of work I like. So that was about it. Cancellation that I got, and then I think I talked about that contract that I was working with as an expediter. I just added an expediting service to my services, and I got a call from a machine, or like a machine shop where they basically make machine parts. And we have a lot of that around in my area. We have foundries and sheet metal machinists. It's very orientated towards that kind of industrial stuff. So I basically just take the parts from where he's at to the other parts shop that does the completion of the parts. So they each have their own. They do it. So, and then I also have to pick other parts up that they need from other parts shops. I'm doing that on Monday. And it's fairly simple. You just back up. The guy has it all shrink wrapped, so you don't have to do any labor. They load the pallet with a forklift, and you just drive. And I've come up with a pricing system that works for me so far. Is I start out with a $50 minimum because I don't want it to do 2 miles or 1 or 2 or 3 miles or even 10. I want to at least get 50 up front on any job that I'm doing a pallet load, and then anything over that. It's $2 a mile. So since I'm not doing any labor or I don't have to pay for disposal or any of that, then I just do the $2 per mile on those. And typically I want to keep them within a certain range because I'm not going to, unless I have to rent a van where I'm going to go long distance. I don't want to take this truck out too far. So they're usually like 50-mile runs. And I have one that's it's going to be like a 100-mile run, you know, round trip. So that's another thing I do is I make sure that I get the miles that I'm starting from here, going to the shop, picking it at the shop, dropping it off, and then coming back home. So I calculate the whole thing. I don't do any deadhead miles. I make sure all the miles are covered. So it gives me a fair price, covers the fuel, and gives me, you know, money on top of that, because fuel is expensive. So I'm gonna do that. I've been dabbling in that a bit, seeing how that works. So far that company seems to be okay. You just have to invoice them, and it's through their company, and so it's another thing I can do with this truck. And I also thought about, if I do, because there are a lot of expediting, which I call expediting, which is if a place needs parts shipped to us at a certain time, instead of loading on a semi truck, or in their case, they just didn't have a truck. They just needed to transport it within that area. And there's some that go pretty far. Some of these manufacturing shipping parts, they can go as far as 300 miles, you know, out. And I thought about it. If the payout's right, if I'm having to go further out, like to say Montana, or to Pasco, these places are a little bit further from me, and it's going to be a whole day trip, I wouldn't mind doing it, because I'm getting $2 a mile, and you know, it's going to add up on the full trip. But I don't think I want to trust my truck on those runs, because my truck's fairly old, and I kind of want to keep it close by in case something goes wrong. I prefer to have, like, I'm looking into one of those Sprinter vans, but since I don't have the money to do that, I found a company, and I'm going to look into, that I was checking out on the internet, called Fluid Truck, and they're basically those vans, at least I saw on the advertisement locally. They have those Ram, I think they're can't think of the name of them, but they're I think they're a Dodge Ram truck, or they're a van, but they're like a taller van. So like this truck, how tall it is, those vans are about the same height as this. They're bigger, you know, more of a van that can carry freight, and they can carry a lot of weight in. And they're very reasonable, actually. The cost of them, I think, on the internet I saw it, I think it was like $70 a day. Of course, you got to pay the gas. But it seemed fairly reasonable if you're going to be doing a long run, or say if I got 3 or 4 long runs, and I could rent that thing for the whole week and pay for it on a weekly basis. That might be something to look into. I'm going to try that, because I do see a lot of long runs that are available. I just don't take them. But if I can work out something like that with a rental truck, I'd rather do that, because then you don't have to worry about the maintenance. They're also going to take care of it if it breaks down, just like U-Haul. They're going to provide you with another vehicle. Whereas with my own vehicle, I have to worry about all the maintenance costs, you know, the tires and everything else. So sometimes on a lease level, like something like that, where you're leasing it or renting it, in certain cases, I think it's fine. It's a good deal. But so I'm looking into that too, since I'm starting to look into this expediting thing. I don't want to go too far. I see these expediters, that's what I call them. I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but I see these guys that are driving across country that are using brokers, and they're expediting all the way across the country. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm just interested in the local runs, because we got a lot of that going on just here, just with like I said, with the shops, just going within the region. That's fine with me, because I really want to focus on my junk removal and moving and hauling jobs, because those are more local. So I have a certain limit where I'm going to go, but they're still available. There are still local expediting jobs that are within the region. So I might add that on to my services and see how that works. I've been doing it a couple times now. It seems to work pretty good, because sometimes you want to take a break and do just driving jobs as opposed to doing all the labor. So I mean, I like doing labor jobs. Sometimes you want to take a break, and those driving jobs, they're not physically laborious. Is that the word for it? I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I'll be doing next week. And the snow is here, but the snow is melting. So, and all next week, according to the weather, that could change. It looks like it's going to be all rain, which is good, because people sometimes call people a box truck when it's raining. And then it's going to actually get up. I mean, we're freezing now, but it looks like it's going to get up even close to 50 degrees, which is kind of strange out here, because I don't remember. I've only lived out here. I've been out here about 4 years, but I don't recall a December where it was 50 degrees. Usually it's freezing the whole. That's actually the coldest month. Usually it's like sometimes a day it'll be like 12 degrees, but nothing above 25, maybe 30. But it's usually below freezing pretty much the whole month. So the fact that it's going up to there, that's good for me because that'll allow me to keep this truck running further into December. And the further I can get into December using the truck, when I do have to take a break, when it does get down where there's snow all over the ground all the time and it's just frozen, I can take a break and then do other types of work. And then January usually it starts to warm up a little bit more and there's more opportunities, and then February and so forth. So December is usually the one month that's pretty much a challenge, plus Christmas and all that. It's more challenging, but so that'll give me a little more time to get some money for that if I have to take a couple of weeks off. I think last year it was really snowy. In fact, I think it was one of the snowiest Novembers. It pretty much snowed all November, and all December was basically ice and snow, and it was really cold. So I pretty much didn't do much work at all until like January. So this is a bit better for me. But for the skiers and the snow people, the people who like to go out in the snow, they may not be that happy. Because the ski slopes, that's how they make their money. But it's really, there's still quite a bit of snow even with them warming up. But like I said, tonight's going to be a little bit tricky. And so I'm glad I didn't, in a sense, the job did cancel, because I really don't want to be driving out when it starts to ice up like that. This truck just does not handle very well. You have to put chains on it, and that's just inconvenient. I don't like doing that, but it's the way it goes around here. I think that's all I got to say. There's something else, but I can't remember. I just wanted to mention that app, and then mention the expediting. I don't know if anyone else does that out there. If anyone else does that kind of work, or they're doing the pallet loads, let me know what, kind of, you don't have to give me the exact charges, but it's somewhere around, if I'm in the right ballpark with the $2 per mile, because I'm not experienced in that kind of work. I did truck driving before in the past, but it wasn't based on mileage. I got paid when I drove tractor trailer years and years ago, my income on that was based on, at least I can remember so long ago, it was more based, I think there might have been a mileage charge, but I think mainly it was on the load, the weight, because I had to go to the scales and stuff. I think and also they had it was moving jobs, so they had certain rates per hour. I don't remember exactly, but I don't think some truck drivers, they just drive pallets and they just get paid per mile. So I'm not really too educated on that as far as how much people charge and what they can charge. So I'll have to learn that. So far, the company that I'm dealing with right now, they're totally cool with $2 a mile. So it must be, I guess, fairly reasonable. I know they said if they went out and rented a U-Haul and did it themselves, it would be more costly, because the fact they would have an employee go out and drive and have to rent the truck and all that. So it's a better deal for them. So hopefully that works out for me. I'm gonna take it easy today. I don't know if I have anything tomorrow. I'll put up some ads, and still trying to get more work, just like everybody else out there. Things are getting expensive. Hope everyone's doing great out there, being prosperous, getting lots of work, enjoying the holidays when they come up, and having a good attitude. This is Daryl at Good Attitude Services, signing out.